These are possibly the best hot chocolates I have ever made. I think the macrame cozy really helped. Kaylee could barely pick hers up. Hi guys, let's get started on making our cozy. Now it does help to have a specific mug in mind when you're making your cozy, but since we're using t-shirt yarn, this pattern should fit most mugs. T-shirt yarn is super stretchy, affordable, and it's washable as well, which helps when you're making a cozy. I'll leave a link in the description box where I got mine. Okay, so fold your cord in half and find the loop end, and then you want to tack that loop onto your board. And I do have to say it's a lot easier to use T-pins and a macrame board for this project. This cork board I actually got from the dollar store, so it's really inexpensive. However, I'll link in the description box my favorite macrame board as well as my T-pins. Okay, so once you have 2 cords that are folded over pinned to your board, we're going to tie a square knot around the center of our 2 cords. So to tie a square knot, you want to make a loop on your left side, and then with your rightmost cord, you want to place that behind and through the loop of your left. Then cinch it up to the top. This is half of your square knot, so to complete the other half, you want to do the same thing but to the other side. So make a loop on your right, and then with your left cord, you want to place that behind and through the loop. If I'm ever going too fast for you, feel free to adjust the speed of this video by tapping the 3 dots on the top right corner. Okay, we did our first knot, but we need 3 of these. Next, we're going to alternate our square knots. So to do this, we're going to need 2 cords from the first knot and 2 cords from the second knot, and then we're going to join them together with another square knot. And yes, that means we're going to skip the first 2 cords in this row and the last 2 cords in this row. So don't worry if they're just hanging out there by themselves. They will get worked in our 3rd row, so don't worry about them. And for the second knot in this row, it's the same thing, so you want to grab 2 cords from each side of our previous knots. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would like to invite you to do so now. I'm actually releasing a whole bunch of Christmas tutorials, so you might want to keep the notifications turned on. Okay, so for the 3rd row, we're tying another square knot, but we start with the first 4 cords. This is called an alternating square knot pattern, which makes up the majority of this entire cozy. Okay, so let's continue on alternating our square knots all the way down. I did a total of 17 rows, but yours may vary. It will depend on the size of your mug as well as the t-shirt yarn you're using if you're not using the same exact one that I am. But regardless of what t-shirt yarn you're using, it's very forgiving. As I said, it's super stretchy. But what you want to look out for how it fits is you don't want it to wrap all the way around your mug. I know that sounds funny. You want to have a good 2 to 3 inch gap near the handle. The reason for this is because you want to have some room for some stretch so that it doesn't slide off your mug, as well as leave room for the handle. Okay, so let's finish this off. With the 2 center strands, you want to flip that up and out of the way. We're going to ignore those for now. Grab your very first cord and you want to pull it over to the right. This is going to be our filler cord, and we're going to tie double half-hitch knots around this cord. So to tie a double half-hitch knot, you want to make a loop over top of your filler cord and then pull that tail end through the loop and repeat twice. That is a double half-hitch knot. With the cord you used to tie your first knot, you want to gather that into your right hand, and then with the next cord in line, we're going to tie another double half-hitch knot but around both those 2 cords. I like to call this technique a gathering double half-hitch knot. Okay, so as you're gathering them in your right hand, you want to eliminate one. So take the shortest one and you want to snip that off. To prevent it from unraveling on you, which it shouldn't since you tied your knot around it, but to help prevent it, we're going to tack it down using fabric glue. Then with the last cord you used to tie your double half-hitch knot, you want to gather it again into your right hand and then tie another double half-hitch knot with the next cord in line. Once you have your double half-hitch knot secure, what you want to do is snip off one of your filler cords again. And of course, tack it down with fabric glue again. The brand of fabric glue I'm using is called High Tack. I actually found mine at my local Walmart in the sewing section. I like fabric glue because it's non-toxic. It dries clear and it dries fast and it does the job, which is kind of important. Also, I am not sponsored or affiliated with High Tack. I'm just telling you what I like. I know you're going to ask, and yes, you can definitely use hot glue for this. However, hot glue tends to peel off, especially on items that you intend to wash. Honestly, at this point, I should be sponsored. Hello, High Tack. Okay, carrying on. Now it's time to bring down those 2 cords that you had at the top. And then with our last 2 filler cords from our gathering double half hitch knots, we're going to tie more square knots. With your filler cords, you want to tie your square knots around the 2 center cords that we had flipped up. And I tied 7 square knots here, however yours may vary again depending on the size of your mug and your t-shirt yarn. Okay, so to finish up the ends, you want to snip off the center cords, leaving about a 1/2 inch of a tail. And then you want to fold down your tail end, tacking it down with fabric glue towards the back of your cozy. And you want to repeat the same thing with your working cords, tacking it down towards the back of your cozy as well. And as you're folding it in, try to do so in the most neat way as possible, if that makes sense. I like to stretch mine across a little bit so that it totally conceals the other ends. Kind of like wrapping a Christmas present. Flip over your cozy, and we're also going to snip off the last cords we used for our double half hitch knots, leaving about a 1/2 inch and tacking it down. Next, bust out your embroidery floss collection, or is that just me? And pick out a color that matches your cozy. In my case, it's white. I do recommend embroidery floss for this simply because it's a lot sturdier than just regular thread. And you guessed it, we're going to be sewing on our button. Now it is a little bit tricky to get a tapestry needle through t-shirt yarn, so what I like to do is work underneath my square knots. So what I do is I slide my tapestry needle and embroidery floss through one of the bars of my square knot, and then I loop it around and attach it with a double overhand knot to secure it on there. And then I just sew on a button, but I don't go all the way through my fabric. So I'm not so much as sewing it through the fabric, I am more like weaving it through the bars of my knots. Gosh, I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments below if you totally understand. I found these wooden beads at my local dollar store, but you can use any beads you want. I chose the green one because I'm making this cozy for my son. His favorite color is green. And I don't know why, but I just totally envisioned Will Ferrell saying, "Hello, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?" And FYI, mine is blue and my daughter's is pink, just if you wanted to know. These macrame cozies make the most excellent gift idea. You can grab a few dollar store mugs, make a few cozies, and then put a whole bunch of candy and chocolate and hot chocolate mix, or a gift card and wrap it up in cellophane, and then you look like a champion gift giver. Another awesome way to give gift cards is inside of my macrame stocking ornament. I'll leave the link to that tutorial on the screen now, and I'll see you over there.